Will you be telling us which timer we should pin? Okay, thank you.
I believe it is timer number 1.
I now call the contest to order. Welcome, my fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, to District 18's Humorous Speech Contest. Please take a moment to turn off any notifications during the contest. All contest members will mute their microphones and turn off their webcams while a contestant is speaking. By attending this virtual contest, you agree to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International, as well as the unassociated remote hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as name, image, and any shared messages, may be shared with other meeting participants. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use of, distribution of said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. Allow me to introduce to you our host of the evening, Ben Christ, District 18's Director of Program Quality.
Thank you, Marcy. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. My name, of course, is Benjamin Christ, and I am the Toastmasters District 18 Program Quality Director. And I want to welcome each of you to the District 18 Virtual Spring Humorous Speech Contest. Each of our contestants tonight represent their division and have worked long and hard to reach this level of competition. Tonight's contest will be the culmination of their efforts, and tonight's speech contest winners will be announced on Saturday, May 1st, 2021, during the District 18 Virtual Spring Conference. Please join me in wishing each speaker the best of luck. I now turn the virtual lectern over to tonight's humorous speech contest master, Marianne Grady.
Welcome, everybody, and I hope you're ready to have your funny bone tickled, because we are here at the District 18 Humorous Speech Contest. We want to welcome you, and before we get started with all that fun, we are going to do an overview of the speech contest procedures for the benefit of anyone who might not be aware of them. So in this contest, we'll hear an original humorous speech from each contestant. One of the purposes of the humorous speech contest is to recognize the value of humor in all of our speeches, to provide an opportunity for speakers to improve their speaking abilities, and to provide an opportunity for all Toastmasters to learn by observing speakers who have benefited from their Toastmasters training. And I think you can agree that we're all going to benefit tonight. There will be 1 minute of silence after each contestant for the judges to mark their ballots. And after the final contestant, I will ask for silence until all the judges leave the main room to rank the contestants and submit their ballots. Video must capture facial expressions and gestures, and voice must be clearly captured by their microphones. To eliminate any perception of bias, I will introduce each contestant the same way. You'll hear the contestant name, speech title, and name. And I'll begin that with the number that they are in the order. The speaking order has been chosen randomly. We used an online randomizer with all the contestants present when I did it. So you may want to mark your program or on a piece of paper so you know the order. So the first speaker this evening will be Tanika C. Rice. Second speaker, Denise Cardona. Third speaker, Angelique Godot. Fourth speaker, Fanny Crawford. Fifth speaker, Tamika B. Daniels. Sixth speaker, Mansoor Hasib. The seventh and final speaker of the evening will be Terry Liebert. I'll say it one more time, and I'll be a little faster this time. So the first speaker, Tanika C. Rice. Second speaker, Denise Cardona. Third speaker, Angelique Godot. Fourth speaker, Fanny Crawford. Fifth speaker, Tamika B. Daniels. Sixth speaker, Mansoor Hasib. And seventh speaker is Terry Liebert. We've confirmed that all contestants are eligible to compete. Timers, will you please read the timing rules for the humorous speech contest?
Thank you, Madam Contest Master. 2 timers appointed by the Chief Judge keep the official record of time of each contestant's speech. 1 timer is provided with a stopwatch and the other with a signaling device that displays green, yellow, and red colors. Timers shall be provided warning signals to the contestants, which shall be clearly visible to the speakers but not obvious to the audience. Any visually impaired contestant is permitted to request and must be granted a form of warning signal of his or her own choosing. If any special device and/or specific instruction for such signal is required, the contestant must provide same. Any contestant is disqualified whose speech time is less than the minimum or more than the maximum time indicated. In the speech contest, no signal will be given for the overtime period. In the event of a technical failure or of the signaling or timing equipment, a speaker is allowed 30 seconds extra overtime before being disqualified. Timing begins with the contestant's first definite verbal or nonverbal communication with the audience. This usually will be the first word uttered by the contestant, but would include any other communication such as sound effects, a staged act by another person, etc. All speeches delivered by contestants must conform to the timing guidelines for the contest. For the humorous speech contest, speeches shall be from 5 to 7 minutes. A contestant will be disqualified if the speech is less than 4 minutes, 30 seconds, or more than 7 minutes, 30 seconds. A green light will be displayed at 5 minutes, remain displayed for 1 minute. A yellow signal will be displayed at 6 minutes and remain displayed for 1 minute. A red signal will be displayed at 7 minutes and will remain on until the conclusion of the speech. Back to you, Madam Contest Master.
Thank you so much. Now, other rules that you need to be aware of are the subject for this humorous speech contest is selected by the contestant. The speaker shall avoid potentially objectionable language, anecdotes, and material. The speech must be thematic in nature with an opening, body, and close, rather than a monologue or a series of one-liners. All speeches are to be substantially original. Any quoted material must be so identified during the speech presentation. Contestants will set up any props or visual aids in the 1 minute of silence before their introduction. Upon being introduced, the contestant will proceed immediately to their speaking position as decided during the contestant's briefing. We are not announcing the results this evening. So after all speakers have completed their presentations, the contest chair will announce if any time disqualifications have occurred, but not name the contestant or contestants involved. Protests based on eligibility, originality, or reference to another contestant's speech must be entered by the contestants or voting judges to either the chief judge or contest chair before the results are announced. Once the results have been announced, all decisions are final. Chief Judge, have all the judges, timers, and ballot counters been briefed?
Madam Contest Master, the timers, ballot counters, and judges have all been briefed. Let the contest begin.
Thank you, sir. And it's time to begin our contest. Just a reminder to anyone on our Zoom platform, please mute your mics and turn off your videos. Contestant 1 is Tanika C. Rice. Tanika, please unmute yourself and spell your first name to check audio and video.
Tanika, T-I-N-E-K-A, Tanika.
Thank you. Can you please pin the timer? And judges, can you please pin the contestant? And we're talking about timer 1.
Yes.
Please welcome Tanika C. Rice with her speech, Feeling Myself. Feeling Myself, Tanika C. Rice.
Spoiler alert, it doesn't end well for me. Madam Contest Chair, Toastmasters, and guests, let me take you all back to a beautiful fall day just over 2 years ago. It was October 4th, 2018. Mother Nature had smiled down on us, kissing us with warmth and sunshine. And I, ladies and gentlemen, was going to make the most of it. Just the day before, I went to the hair salon and got a nice trim and some new fall color in my hair. I was looking too cute and decided to step it up the next day at work. Fast forward to the next day and I'm getting ready. Oh, my wardrobe, I'm glad you asked. Fitted denim slacks, they never go out of style. Flowy, too cute blouse and new fall hair. Woo-wee! I was feeling myself. I gave consideration to a pair of black flats that would have gone just fine with the ensemble. But then I remembered the wedged-heeled sandals my sister had given me a couple weeks earlier. I raced upstairs, searched through boxes of shoes until I came to the prize pair I was searching for. Hallelujah! Yes, I found them. My mission was accomplished. I put those shoes on, admired myself in the mirror, and then I polished off my look with a little bit of lip gloss. Hot dang, I was feeling myself. The whole ride into work, I was on cloud 9. Little did I know, God had a sense of humor and was about to bring me back down to earth. I arrived at the parking garage, parked, but instead of taking the shuttle, I decided to strut to the building. As I was walking, stepping, strutting, I was looking good and feeling even better. I happened to look down and I noticed there was a black smudge on my foot, but I didn't think twice about it because I was feeling myself. When I was nearly there, I realized my shoe felt a little loose, but I kept right on stepping. But oh, baby, the story was about to change. Let me explain. Here's what I didn't know. I didn't realize that those prize shoes, the very ones I had on my feet at the time, the ones that my sister had only worn once because they were a little too small for her feet, they had a story of their own. Apparently, those shoes had a strange case of Benjamin Button syndrome because although they looked brand new, they had been through some things. They were quite old and they didn't have many more steps left in them. Let me explain. My sister had tossed those beloved too cute shoes in her trunk where they remained for a few years, enduring numerous seasons of extreme hot and extreme cold until she happened to come across them sometime in 2017, at which time she gave them shoes to our mother. Now, where those shoes were too small for my sister, they were too big for our mother. So she tossed them in her closet where they remained until she came across them sometime in September 2018, at which time she gave them back to my sister. And my sister, my sister was oh so nice enough to give them to me. Mm, mm, mm. And did I happen to mention, I looked down and noticed that the strap on my shoe had broken and the shoes were disintegrating on my feet. I looked behind me and saw a trail of black bits of rubber sole that had followed me to the door, left down on the ground with my ego and my pride. Oh my Lord, what's an over 40 hottie to do? That's what I was thinking and saying. I went from strutting and feeling myself to barely lifting my feet up off the ground, shuffling and praying. I went from 40 is the new 20 to 40. Wow, 40 is darn near 50. And that's the day I learned that God sure does have an ironic sense of humor. Madam Contest Chair, thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanika. And can we have a 1 minute of silence, please? All right, moving on. Please welcome contestant number 2, Denise Cardona. Denise, please unmute yourself and spell your first name to check the audio and video.
Denise, D-E-N-N-I-S-E, Cardona, C-A-R-D-O-N-A.
Thank you, Denise. Can you
Welcome.
please pin the timer?
I have, thank you.
And judges, please pin the contestant. Here's contestant number 2, Denise Cardona, with her speech, "Your wish is my command." Your wish is my command. Denise Cardona.
There's a well-known book called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne that says all you have to do to get what you want from the universe is to wish for it. Kind of sounds like we're summoning the genie in Aladdin's bottle and waiting to hear those famous words, "Your wish is my command." Let me tell you something. If making wishes come true were that easy, I'd have the same body I did when I was 20 years old. Needless to say, I had my doubts about this whole wishful thinking thing, but I figured, why not give it a shot? Contest master, fellow Toastmasters and welcomed guests, I think I might have read the wrong version of this book, The Secret, because none of my wishes turned out like I expected them to. For my first wish, I said to the universe, I would like to get back into good shape. Not more than a day later, the universe replied, "Your wish is my command." Yeah, right. You see, that very same day, my husband Hector tore his ACL. Do you know what happens when someone has to run up and down the stairs 40 million times a day to cater to an injured loved one? Let's just say I didn't need to use that $1,000 Stairmaster machine to get my daily steps in. No. And in addition to sprinting around my house like some kind of crazed lunatic, I also had to shovel snow and ice all by myself. I thought to get back into this shape, maybe the universe might turn me into some kind of a Zumba master. Instead, I turned into a household chore master. Now, this whole ordeal may not have turned my body back into its 20-year-old self, but I did get to work on my biceps a little bit. So I still had a little faith in this whole process of wishful thinking. For my second wish, I said to the universe, I'd like to have more peace of mind. Maybe by unplugging from technology for a little bit. A few weeks later, while vacationing with family in South America, the universe responded again, "Your wish is my command." I think the universe might have been on a vacation of its own, because once again, my wish turned out nothing like I had expected it to. There we were, in the middle of Armenia, Colombia. We just climbed out of a taxi and waved it off. We stood admiring the colorful architecture, and I thought, I should really get a picture of this. So I reached for my iPhone. And that's when I realized I forgot my iPhone in the backseat of that taxi, and I watched it speed off down a crowded city street in the middle of a foreign country. My iPhone basically turned into a rambunctious blue dot on Hector's Find My Phone app. We chased after that zigzagging blue dot like it was our first-born child. And every time we thought we caught up to it, we realized we were always 2 minutes behind it because the app had an annoying delay on it. About an hour into our street chase, I started pleading with the universe to plug me back in. The universe ignored me. It just ignored me. I should have turned to Siri for this plea. Because you know what? Siri always seems to pop up when I need her most. And even when I don't. But the universe, It seemed now that we were in the middle of Columbia, the universe conveniently forgot how to comprehend English. My original wish to have more peace of mind was basically lost in translation. It took another 2 hours of charging through the city streets like we were on the TV show The Amazing Race before we finally caught up with the taxi driver when he went home for a siesta. At least one of us got some peace of mind. I have to tell you that up to this point, this whole wishful thinking thing really boggled my mind. I obviously wasn't in on this whole secret thing, but I was determined to get in on it. So on the plane ride home, I said, okay, universe, listen up, because this wish is really important to me. And it's pretty straightforward, so you really can't mess this one up. I would like the opportunity to work remotely from now on. Shortly after arriving back in America, the universe replied, your wish is my command. Oh, here's where things got really messed up. I must have put too much pressure on the universe because it wreaked havoc on more than just me and Hector this time. It got the whole world in on this one and created a coronavirus and put it on planes, trains, and automobiles and super spread it everywhere. Not only would work be remote now, but everything else would be remote too. Family gatherings, remote. Graduate school, remote. Competing in a humorous Toastmasters speech contest, remote. Before you go summoning that genie in a bottle to hear those famous words, your wish is my command. Think back on how things turned out for me. So far, my wishes brought me an injured hubby, a street chase through Colombia, and a global pandemic. What would another wish bring me? I am kind of afraid to find out. And so for that reason, you know what I say the secret to getting what you want is? Keeping it a darn secret. Back over to you, Contest Master.
Thank you so much, Denise.
Thank
And we
you.
have 1 minute of silence, please. One minute is complete. Next, we'll have our third contestant, Angelique Godot. Angelique, please unmute yourself and spell your first name to check audio and video.
Angelique.
Thank you, Angelique. Can you please pin the timer? And judges, please pin the contestant. Please welcome contestant 3, Angelique Godot, with her speech, Low Maintenance is a Lie. Low maintenance is a lie, Angelique Godot.
Do you have a high maintenance person in your life? I do. It's my mother. If we have to be somewhere at 7 p.m., I have to tell her 5 p.m., but she really starts getting ready at 11 a.m. the day before. Men, you are included in this group as well, especially the ones with facial hair. Beards are the new Barbie dolls. They come complete with accessories. You have a beard bag, a beard comb, a beard brush, beard cream, beard dye, and a beard trimmer. That's high maintenance, my friend. I declare right now that I will never be that person. I am a proud, low maintenance woman. In fact, I'm so low maintenance, I'm almost no maintenance, except when it comes to my hair. Before COVID, it was monthly trips to the salon. Now, it's a constant DIY project, complete with YouTube instructions and home assistance from my friends Vidal and Sasson. That's too high maintenance for me. But with Zoom calls and video chats all the rage, I needed help. I didn't have to go far to look. My daughter went to Japan last year. But before she left, she got long, beautiful braids as an easy hair care option. She's been wearing them ever since, and she is FaceTime ready at the drop of a hat. I thought, hey, if it worked for her. Well, it's been a few weeks, and while I feel Zoom-tabulous on the outside, on the inside, I'm feeling like I was bamboozled. Friends, if you're looking for a low maintenance, easy hair care, luxurious style like this, let me tell you a little secret. Low maintenance? It's a lie. Let me explain. I knew braids would be a little painful. Okay, I was told I would just need Tylenol and Advil. I gave birth not once, but twice without an epidural. Surely I could handle braids. False. You need pharmaceutical grade narcotics for this kind of pain. Let me help you comprehend. Grab a few friends, tell them to bring a few cousins, and everyone grab a piece of your hair and pull and pull and pull for 3 days. Forget about sleep. There's no sleeping when your scalp hates you. Just grab a pillow, prop yourself up, and watch every Shonda Rhimes show ever made. I thought, okay, once the pain subsided, I was home free, but no, there's something called the itch factor. Have you ever seen one walk around doing this? It's because her scalp itches and she needs relief. But I have discovered the best tool for that. I call it heaven on a stick. Woo! And it works every time. Don't judge me. Yes, itching, pain. I thought, okay, there can't be anything else, but no, there is. Actually, there are no simple tasks when you have long, luxurious braids like this. Even something as simple as getting into my car. I have to put on my coat, lean forward, the braids out of the way, stand up, cuteness check, selfie time, run to the car, lean forward, pull the braids forward, get in the car, seatbelt, whoops, got to get the braids out of the way. All the while, I am prepared for a ponytail emergency. No self-respecting woman should wear scrunchy bracelets. But wait, there's more. You cannot use the bathroom without yoga moves. Yes, it's warrior pose, tree pose, reach back, pull the hair up, sideways warrior pose, grab the toilet paper, but wait, you got a runner. but you got to use the same one because once you go south, there's no double dipping. Then there's something called refreshing. I thought, what is that? You have to get in the mood and be zen, massaging your scalp with essential oils, stroking each braid and thanking it for bringing you joy, while Tibetan chimes ting, ting, ting in the background. And you must talk like this while you do it. No, I don't have time for this. This is not what I signed up for. I was lied to. I think about the words of the great Theodore Roosevelt. He said, nothing in life is worth having or worth doing unless it means effort, pain, and difficulty. Personally, I think Teddy was wearing braids in the White House, but that's just between you and me. Effort, pain, yoga, these are high maintenance words. I told you, I'm a low maintenance woman. And that's why I stand before you today with the best way that you too can have beautiful, low maintenance, luxurious braids, get sleep, and not itch. And it doesn't matter your race, creed, color, gender, hair type. Heck, it doesn't even matter if you have hair. Listen real close. To be low maintenance and Instagram ready, all you need are braids and a ball cap. Contest chair.
Wow, thank you for that, Angelique. Can we have 1 minute of silence, please? One minute is complete. Contestant number 4 is Fanny Crawford. Fanny, please unmute yourself and spell your first name to check your audio and video.
Fanny, Fanny.
Fanny, can you please pin the timer?
Done?
And judges, can you please pin the contestant? Contestant 4, Fanny Crawford, trending data sets. Trending data sets, Fanny Crawford.
Contest master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. In my house in Hagerstown, Maryland, I have more than 5,000 books and 370 separate pieces of crockery. I'm a collector. I feel like the Count. 1 luncheon plate, 2 luncheon plates. I count the spiders on the wall. I count the cobwebs in the hall. I count the candles on my shelf. When I'm alone, I count myself. I have postcards. 1 bureau drawer, 27 inches wide, 15 inches deep, and 6 inches high. Not the whole bureau, 1 drawer. In stacks, 80 to 100 cards to the inch. That's fewer than 6,000 cards. And the drawer is not completely full. That would be hoarding. I'm here to speak today about the next great source of trending data sets, deltiology, the study of picture postcards. Deltiology and picture postcards in general apparently are a serious repository of social wisdom and a potential engine for prosperity economically. Give me a few minutes to convince you. Picture postcards were introduced to the American public at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. By the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904, they had really taken off. They became a middle-class American status symbol, mailed to family members in faraway places and collected, preserved for posterity in treasured family albums. The difference between picture postcard collections and steampunk fashions or sports memorabilia and other popular collectibles these days is their value to historians, sociologists, and serious students of popular culture. How do I know all this? Entirely due to the lifetime achievement of Mr. Donald Brown, retired librarian in Myerstown, Pennsylvania, and his postcard collection of 800,000 postcards. Mr. Donald Brown has already sent truckloads of postcards to the University of Maryland to be archived. And that puts Mr. Brown's lifetime achievement at well over 1 million cards. Mr. Donald Brown has a friend at the University of Maryland, Mr. McElrath, Director of Special Collections and Archives. Brief aside, that job title was also my mother's job title at Temple University in the 1980s and 90s, which says a lot about me and this speech. Mr. McElrath, Director of Special Collections and Archives, says that Mr. Donald Brown was almost the first to recognize that postcard collections like his are statistically valid data sets, evidence of the past. It turns out that anything in that quantity is a statistically valid data set. At the University of Maryland, the donated 400,000 postcards are sorted and digitized for storing and sharing online. Social scientists say the picture postcard is an important American communication tool. As cameras became popular from the 1930s on, a subgenre emerged, the real-life photo postcard. People posed with what was most important: motorcycles, accordions, bomb shelters. Mr. Donald Brown calls these portraits a down-to-earth, almost vernacular illustration of American culture over time, capturing social life and human attitudes, a gold mine of information. The only trending communication collectible in comparable quantities is the ubiquitous tweet. So stand by. I don't have 800,000 of anything, maybe stink bugs, but they're not visible yet this time of year. Oh, and dust bunnies, visible 24/7, 12. According to the University of Maryland, Director of Special Collections and Archives, Mr. Donald Brown has one of the largest postcard collections in the country. I repeat, one of the largest. Who are all these other lunatics with upwards of 800,000 postcards? That's a lot of dresser drawers. I understand the fascination with postcards. It's a contagion. My daughter and nieces are now all postcard collectors and senders. Outside the family, I've exposed many acquaintances and friends. Mr. Donald Brown was infected by his aunt, a missionary in Asia, who sent him postcards when he was a child. By the time he was 10, after that sensitizing phase, he was 10 in 1943, he received an old shoebox full of his grandparents' postcards. I spread them out on the floor, and I haven't been able to stop collecting since. At the Myerstown Deltiology Club, a fellow member praises Mr. Brown. He's thinking ahead, donating his life's work to a public research institution. So many collections have been dispersed, sold piecemeal for big money. And that's such a loss. They're lost to history, untraceable. Mr. Donald Brown, for your lifelong crusade, for recognizing the importance of trending data sets and taking on an awesome responsibility. The hoarders of Hagerstown honor you. Contest Master.
Can we have 1 minute of silence? One minute is complete. Please welcome contestant 5, Tamika B. Daniels. Tamika, please unmute yourself and spell your first name to check audio and video.
Tamika.
Thank you, Tamika. Can you please pin the timer?
Timer is pinned.
Judges, please pin the contestant. Contestant 5, Tamika B. Daniels, A Tale of Two Pregnancies. A Tale of Two Pregnancies, Tamika B. Daniels.
It was a season of calmness and a season of chaos. Contest master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. I remember waking up at 3 a.m. on October 8th, 2013, with an epiphany. I'm pregnant. Now, I didn't get this thought because an angel from the Lord appeared to me saying, "Unto you a child is born." No. I realized my cycle was late. That's right, Aunt Flo hadn't visited in a while, and at that time of morning, I had no idea what to do with this newfound enlightenment. So I went where most people would go, to the internet. We all know that everything is true on the internet. Well, I quickly learned that there are hundreds of different types of pregnancy tests, including do-it-yourself tests, all claiming to be the fastest, easiest, most accurate test in the world. I suppose having an ad that read, "This could go either way, or your guess is as good as mine," or "Girl, you know we all gonna find out the truth in a few months," might hamper their sales a bit. Later, I went to the store and grabbed a box that had 5 pregnancy tests in it and tampons, just in case this was a false alarm, and breezed through the self-checkout aisle. Well, the first test was positive. Of course, I thought I'd done something wrong, because trying to pee on a stick you can't see is like being in a helicopter trying to pour a gallon of water into a cup on the ground. Now, some of it might make it into the cup, but most of it likely hit the dirt, and there's no way to retrieve it. So I took a second test, this time using a disposable cup, to make sure I hit the target accurately. And it was positive. Now, the doctors I encountered along this journey were a bit like meteorologists, with spot-on accuracy. There's a good chance you might have this baby at some point. My primary doctor said that based on my hormone levels, I had to be about 7 to 8 weeks pregnant and set a due date for late May. 1 week later, at my first OBGYN appointment, the doctor said, if I can hear a heartbeat, ba-boom, ba-boom, you have to be about 10 to 13 weeks pregnant and move the due date to late April. Moments later, as I'd been sent down to imaging for a sonogram, they asked if we wanted to know the gender of the baby. I thought, man, technology must be amazing these days. I had no idea I could find that out on my first appointment. Well, the fact that we were having a boy paled in comparison to the fact that I was now 22 weeks pregnant with a revised due date of mid-February. Every action over the past 6 months began flashing in my head. Did I drink an entire bottle of champagne on my birthday? How many times had I eaten tuna for lunch? And I'm sure those beers at the Orioles game were not part of the prenatal diet plan. Well, my son was like a sloth inside. His movements were so rare and faint. It's likely why I had no idea he was in there in the first place. But he was our first baby. So my husband and I took the prenatal classes, and we had our breathing so in sync. Then the news came that our son was breached. That's right, he just turned around and hunkered down for the winter with no plans of exiting the building without being evicted. And that's exactly what happened. On February 12th at 10 a.m., our son Stephen was born via scheduled C-section. Now, fast forward about 13 months or so, believe it or not, I had another epiphany. This time was not because Aunt Flo hadn't been hanging out. No. It was much worse. My body reverted back to my 10-month pregnancy body. Muscle memory, they call it. Clearly, my muscles can't remember any of my superfine days. So I took one of the 3 remaining pregnancy tests, and it was positive. Unfortunately, a few days later, I had to travel for work to Las Vegas. We've all heard the slogan, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, nothing happened in Vegas. I was miserable. I had to turn down free drinks and sushi dinners and roller coaster rides across the strip. And the baby wiggled and kicked and chomped and punched for the entire pregnancy. The moment I would try to close my eyes, surprise, karate chop. If I ate the wrong food, double punches. This time around, we opted not to take the prenatal classes, despite the doctor trying to sell us on the idea of having a vaginal birth following a C-section. I figured at 40 years old, also known as my advanced maternal age, if everything had remained intact this long, I preferred that it stay that way. I remember walking up the stairs one evening when a stream of water trickled down my leg. I figured the baby must be practicing kickboxing on my bladder again, and I had an accident. Or my water broke. I screamed, the baby is coming. In the chaos, I grabbed one of my son's pull-ups and put it in my pants to try to stop the flow, completely overlooking the fact that pull-ups aren't absorbent. Well, the flow never stopped. I felt like a leaky pipe. And that's when I realized that the prenatal classes from before failed to communicate one key piece of information. The water doesn't stop until the baby is born. If this had been a 3-hour tour, I could have generated enough liquid to have my own Gilligan's Island. Luckily, 2 hours later, at 10 p.m., our daughter Savannah Grace was born via unscheduled C-section. One pregnancy nearly went unnoticed. The other became apparent almost at conception. One male, the other female. One scheduled, the other unscheduled. One born 2 days before Valentine's Day, the other 12 days before Christmas. This is my tale of 2 pregnancies. Though the journeys were different, I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything in the world. Contest Master.
Well, thank you so much, Tamika, for your speech. Can we have a minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots? 1 minute is complete. Our next speaker is contestant 6, Mansour Hasib. Mansour, please unmute yourself and spell your first name to check audio and video.
Mansur. Mansour.
Thank you, sir. Can you please pin the timer? And judges, please pin the contestant. Contestant number 6, Mansour Hasib, with his speech, Common Sense. Common Sense by Mansour Hasib.
Do you wonder why common sense is not very common? And if it is not common, why do we call it common sense? And why do we call it social media? From what I've seen, people are most angry, hateful, and antisocial on social media. Contest chair, Toastmasters, guests. English is full of nonsense. My troubles began as a child after I had already learned a much more logical language at home. At school, my teacher said, P-U-T is put. However, B-U-T is but. And I said, huh? She explained, I am big, but you are small. So I wrote it out. You are big, but I am small. How would I know an extra T and a little comma out of place could hurt so bad? One day, she brought vegetables to class, and I learned an eggplant doesn't grow eggs. It's not even a plant. A pineapple is not an apple, and it has no pines. And bay leaf has nothing to do with the bay. Oh my God. I had heartburn, but then I learned it had nothing to do with my heart or with fire. Soon I learned to pronounce bigger words. H-A-N-G-E-R is hanger, beautiful. D-A-N-G-E-R should be danger, but it isn't. Why? I grew up and I learned more nonsense. Dogma is not a dog's mama. Dogmatic is not an automatic dog. A vegetarian eats vegetables, but a humanitarian doesn't eat humans. At least, I hope they don't. Then I learned some pronunciation nonsense. P-O-L-I-S-H can be Polish or polish. W-O-U-N-D can be wound or wound. I am wound? I have a wound? How do I know what is what? And then I learned about gender discrimination in the English language. Even Toastmasters has a male bias, except this one. Give her her book, perfectly correct grammatically. Give him him book? No, that's grammatically wrong. So the women get one. I came to America and I learned more nonsense. Everybody wanted to know if I liked everything, and it didn't seem grammatically correct to me. Like, let's go to dinner. Like, let's go to the movies. So I said, yes, I like. They said, no, don't do that. What do you mean? Why not? You asked me if I like. The first time I heard someone say, oh, I said, wow, that's a fashion statement. Makes you look like an intellectual. So I picked it up. I wanted to be cool. And then everyone asked me, you know? No, I'm an alien from the other side of the world. I don't know. You are supposed to teach me. I started work at the cafeteria and I started to learn about desserts. And I saw some beautiful pastries. So I told my coworker, I love pasties. It took me a few days to figure out I had accidentally dropped the R. I got married. My mother-in-law came over for dinner, and she doesn't eat pork. And we had the hardest time convincing her to eat. Mommy, hamburger has no ham. Then why is it called a hamburger? Mommy, a hot dog doesn't have dog meat. Then why is it called a hot dog? You want to trick me? I'm no April Fool. Finally, I joined Toastmasters to learn English properly and to make sense of this nonsense. I got rid of my I got rid of my and I no longer liked anything. However, my progress has been very slow because I can only learn one word per meeting. So I may have to join more clubs, but then that would create more nonsense for me because I am monogamous. Contest chair.
Thank you, Mansoor. Can we have 1 minute of silence so the judges can mark their ballots? One minute has elapsed, and we are at our final contestant, contestant 7, Terry Liebert. Terry, please unmute yourself and spell your first name to check audio and video.
Terri.
Can you please pin the timer? And judges, please pin the contestant. Please welcome contestant number 7, Terry Liebert, with her speech, Humorous Transportation. Humorous Transportation with Terry Liebert.
Towels, sunscreen, snacks. Oh, hi there. Oh, thanks for going to the beach with me for the day. I have everything we need, plus plenty of tunes to keep us entertained throughout our journey. Thank you for agreeing to drive. Let's get in, buckle up, and hit the road. Oh, we are going to have some fun. So let's get started. And I thought we'd try out my 70s playlist. The Elton John, Queen, ooh, the Bay City Rollers. SATURDAY, night. Oh, how about some Village People? It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Ooh, Club Nouveau, ELO. Don't bring me down. No, 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 no. Woohoo. Whoa, what just happened? Why are we at a roller skating rink? Why do we look like we just walked off the set of that 70s show? Why am I looking so good in these designer jeans? I haven't worn such tight jeans since 1979. I mean, it's smoky in here. Do you see any smartphones? People are actually talking to each other. Check out those guys over there in those cool concert t-shirts. Oh, hi, Randy. Oh my goodness, I remembered his name. Oh, and check it out. We have on the cool skates, not those ugly brown Reynolds skates. Oh no. The flashing lights, the mirror disco ball. Let's get out there and move around the rink like a sports car in traffic while the music master plays Don't Bring Me Down. Whoa, I can't believe it. That song transported us back to Skateland. Wow. Let's see about the 80s playlist. Michael Jackson, Madonna. Ooh, Wham. Wake me up before you go. Ooh, Cyndi Lauper. Girls, they wanna have fun. Club Nouveau. We all need somebody to lean on. Whoa, it happened again. Where are we now? The sunshine, the buildings, people wearing Greek letters. Check out those ladies over there with that big rock band hair that you know took an entire can of hairspray. Wait, I know where we are. We are at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. It's my senior year, 1988. And there's my sorority sisters over there, Delta Phi Epsilon. They've got on their oversized, bright yellow sweatshirts with the purple Greek letters. That was to help us stand out. I've got on my favorite acid wash jeans and my white high top Reeboks. If only Instagram were around. Oh, the likes we would have had. Now, see those ladies over there of Kappa Delta Alpha? They're the new group in town trying to attract members. They look like they're ready to battle on the stage of America's Got Talent. Whoa, what a killer dance. Oh my goodness, that great new funky version of Lean On Me by Club Nouveau is blasting on their boombox. Oh, wow, I remember wishing we had a dance. Oh, wow, that was cool. That song transported us back to my college days. Oh, fun. Let's see about my 90s playlist. Oh, we're here. Oh, goodness. Wow. Well, thank you for singing along with me and making this trip so much fun. Don't you love the way that music has this power to transport us back in time? It's amazing. I hope this trip reminds us to sit back and relax and listen to some music and relive your memories. caught up in the stress of life, music and the beach will be there to bring us joy. I can't wait for our drive home, and maybe we can see where the 90s takes us. Let's go get some sun, shall we? Contest Master.
Thank you so much, Terry. Can we have silence until the judges, chief judge, ballot counters, and timers leave to rank the contestants and submit their ballots?
Madam Contest Master, all judges, ballot counters, and timers have left the main room.
Thank you kindly. Now, all of you, I would invite you to turn your cameras on, and let's have a round of applause for all those wonderful speeches tonight. What a great job from our contestants. I want to congratulate them all on their hard work and their great performances tonight. But now we are going to move in to the interview portion where we get to know our people a little better, our contestants from this evening. So I'm going to do it in the order that they gave their speeches. So our first person will be Tanika C. Rice. So please unmute yourself and let us know which club you're representing today.
Good evening. I am representing the Baltimore VA Toastmasters Club, number 8369.
On your contestant profile, there were two things that caught my eye. First was that you like to bake. So I'm currently on a diet. So I want you to tell me about the most decadent dessert you bake that will make me want to break my diet.
Wow. The most decadent. I guess it depends on what you consider decadent. Most times people think when they hear decadence, they think of chocolate. However, recently, let's see, I'm trying to think of what I made recently. I made an orange Italian, some sort of orange Italian 1-layer cake. That was quite tasty, but decadent, I would have to say, are probably more like my banana puddings, which there's no grocery store pudding involved. Everything's from scratch, along with a nice meringue that I whip up myself and pop it in the oven to bake. That's one of my mom's favorite. One of my personal favorites is peach cobbler. Again, everything from scratch. Well, of course, not the peaches, but everything else from scratch, including a delicious crust with only 3 ingredients.
Well done. I'm hungry now. The second thing that I found on your profile that I thought was beautiful, that you are inspired by your children.
Oh,
please share a little about your darlings and why they inspire you.
I would love to, and that's the perfect question. So let me first tell you all that my 12-year-old, his name is Lou. He has been my coach throughout this entire process, listening to me and giving me pointers and feedback. He watched tonight as I was, performing, and I just love that I loved his energy. And he said, Mom, you got this. And don't forget to give me my props. And I said, I absolutely will not. And of course, my daughter, who is much older, my son's 12, my daughter's 25, but she is just such a go-getter. And actually, it's her who has really motivated and encouraged me and pushed me to do all those things from many years ago that I never had the guts to do. And so they just so inspire me, and they make me want to be a better me.
I thought you were going to say that they make you want to start to feel yourself, but thank you, Tanika. Great job tonight.
Thank you so much.
The next person on our list is Denise Cardona. Denise, what club are you representing this evening?
I am representing Advancing Toastmasters in Catonsville, Maryland.
I noted that you are a podcaster. So what tips do you have for any of our Toastmaster friends who are doing the podcasting project in Pathways?
Yes, well, I have not done the podcasting pathway yet. However, one of the greatest things that I learned from other fellow podcasters is to be very, very curious, stay curious. So I interview a lot of guests, and from UMBC, that's where I work. And a lot of these people talk about things in fields that I have no concepts of. Engineering, just technology, cybersecurity. And I used to get really nervous having these conversations at first because I felt like I couldn't keep up with them because I had no knowledge of these areas. But what I learned was ask questions, be curious, be a student of the universe, and get their story out of them that way. And people love to talk about their stories when you ask them genuinely for them. So that would be
not talking about that universe again, are you?
Excuse me?
You're not talking about that universe again, are you? Under your interest in hobbies, you said that you write books. In Toastmasters, there are many aspiring authors. So what do you write about, and how did you become a first-time author?
Well, I write fiction and nonfiction. So I write fiction under a pen name, and that's contemporary romance. And I write nonfiction books about productivity, about how to market yourself, because I'm a marketing professional. And I'm writing one right now about helping shy professional women speak up in the workplace. And so those are the kinds of projects that I work on.
Well, as an HR professional, I know that's very important. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your speech tonight, Denise. So next up, we have Angelique Godot. Please unmute yourself and tell us what club you are representing.
Caesar Rodney Toastmasters.
So now, the one and only thing you listed on your interest was all things Mardi Gras. So you weren't very specific. So I'm going to ask you, have you been to New Orleans for Mardi Gras? And tell us about it if so.
Yes, actually, I have been to New Orleans several times. My first time, I met a friend in Idaho at an art camp. I found out she was from New Orleans. My last name is Godot, and it's Creole heritage from my father's side, but my mom got rid of him, so that was probably a good thing. So I don't know anything about that part of the family. So, but I've always had an interest in New Orleans. And like I said, I met this woman. I found out that her daughter was getting married, and I did everything I could to get invited to the wedding because I wanted to see what they call a second line. And that's when they have, some musical players, and they march down the street and they play horns. And we're best friends. That was about 10 years ago. We've been best friends. And yes, I got invited to the wedding. And not only did I go to the wedding, see a second line, my friend got me a spot on a float. So in 2020, I was on the floats in Mardi Gras, rolling down the street, throwing beads at people. And that was a bucket list item.
That is super memorable, and I'm a big fan of Nola. So, I'm jealous.
It was awesome. It was absolutely fantastic.
You mentioned that you find TED Talks inspiring. Do you have a favorite one or one that you'd recommend to our audience today?
I am a big fan of the minimalists, and my gosh, their name escapes me. Joshua Rayburn and okay, wow. See, I'm a woman of a certain age, so I tend to forget things. So I'm gonna roll with that. But they did a video on Netflix, and also you can find one on YouTube where they just Marie Kondo'd their life before we knew about Marie Kondo, and it's not about getting rid of things, but more about living life, enjoying life through experience and not through things. And I just have to throw in, I've been interested in that for about, I don't know, 5-6 years. My daughter is in Atlanta going to grad school, and of course she left all her stuff here, and I've been going through things, and I said, sweetheart, we need to get rid of stuff. What do you want me to do with it? I have 17 bins, I kid you not, in the basement full of her clothes. And she said, Mom, they served their purpose, they brought me joy, I don't need them anymore. I haven't used them in the 2 years I've been down here, so I'm not coming back for them. And I proceeded to say, where is my child? And put her on the phone, because that was not the response I was expecting, but I'm taking it. I'm not asking any questions. I'm headed to Goodwill this week with a big truckload of stuff.
Well, that was definitely a Marie Kondo response. It doesn't bring her joy. Woo!
I was impressed. At 23 years old and she's letting me get rid of her stuff. So,
well, thank you for your speech tonight. It was wonderful, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker will be Fanny Crawford. Fanny, what club are you representing today?
I'm with Carroll Creek Toastmasters in Frederick, Maryland.
You mentioned historic portrayals as an interest of yours. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I grew up with a lot of family stories, and my great-grandfather left us a 100-page manuscript of his autobiography and what he knew about the family history. And I was told those stories as bedtime stories by my dad from the time I was 3 and 4 years old. So I really internalized that guy. And when I became a storyteller, I started telling his stories and portraying my great-grandfather wearing a suit like the one that he wore. And that kind of took me into historical storytelling. So it's been quite a ride.
I didn't realize you were doing the portrayal, so that's interesting, very interesting. Now, the quote you listed as your favorite was from Poet Laureate Amanda Gorman. While we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. So why is this your favorite quote, and what does it mean to you?
I think it's important to me because there are lots of times when I feel discouraged or unhappy with my fellow human beings and wonder how we got to where we are. And that quote just reminds me that we don't have to solve all these problems right this minute, that there are younger people coming up who are just as concerned about the future as us old ladies. And we have to give them their due and let them lead the conversation. And I think that history is where, when we become history, that's what matters, when people look at how we lived our lives and how we left the world for the next generation.
Well, wise words. Thank you so much, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Tamika B. Daniels. Please join me at the virtual lectern. What club are you representing today?
Towson Toastmasters. One
of your hobbies was writing poetry. Can you recite one of your poems or tell us what you like to write about?
That is good. I recently was in the international speech contest, and I started my speech off with one of my speeches from 21 years, poems from 21 years ago. I'm sitting here trying to think of reasons to live when I desperately want to die. Pondering deeply, but cannot come up with one reason why I should remain in this world without any hope, except that maybe the pills will work better than the rope. It's hard to keep living when you're dead inside, just going through the motions without self-respect or pride. I'm drenched in tears now, too afraid to try, terrified that I wake up tomorrow, desperately wanting to die. So,
Wow.
from 21
Wow.
years ago, yeah.
And like a true Toastmaster, ready to go. I added the second part of that question in case you weren't, but that was terrific.
So I like to write about anything, actually. As a counselor, I used to get inspiration from my patients, partly that particular poem is being one of them. And the other thing I like to do is when people get married, so when my friends get married, I like to write like love poems. So it's kind of one of the things I'm known for. So if somebody's engaged or getting married, they tell me a little bit about each other. So I create a poem about both of them together.
Very nice. Now, if you have a favorite quote and it was about kindness, if you can have a choice of being right or being kind, choose kind. And this is a quote from Dr. Wayne Dyer. There's so many quotes about kindness. Why did this one in particular resonate with you?
Because I think in the world, at least especially over the past year or so, people are so caught up with what's right and what's wrong and who's right and which side is right, that if we just take a moment to just be kind to one another, we can get a lot further. I like the podcast story about being curious about other people versus just quickly jumping to conclusions and judging people without knowing their full story.
Well, I thank you so much for being with us tonight and giving your speech, and I wish you all the luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, our sixth speaker this evening was Mansour Hasib. So it's your turn. So please unmute yourself and let us know what club you're representing this evening.
Hi, Marianne. I am with the Toast of Savannah Park Club.
Now, in our crazy world, cybersecurity is a big deal. I note that you've been the recipient of several accolades related to this subject. How did you become so knowledgeable and respected in this field?
I think the key was that I had a liberal arts education, economics, and then I did a master's degree in political science. And at the time that I started doing cybersecurity, there was no college, university in the world that was teaching it. So I was one of those people that always thinks critically, sees what's going on, and then tries to see where is the world headed. So I was doing a doctoral degree in political science when I realized, my God, this whole networking and digital world is going to change everything. And so I abandoned the doctoral program in political science and went into network engineering and basically started going to in-service training with IBM, Novell, all those companies, and then bought parts because in those days there was no internet. And so I had to mail order all the parts, bring them home, assemble them. And so that's how I learned everything. And then I started transforming organizations. Now, at that time, cybersecurity was not a word, but the key thing was that I knew that we will use information to make decisions. So the confidentiality of information became very important. The truth or integrity of the information became very important. Availability of information became very important. So I wrote all kinds of governance documents around that. So as these companies were being transformed, you needed to create rules, you needed to create policies because you had data scattered all over the place, right? So I was doing all of that. And before you know it, those were literally chapters of my book, Cybersecurity Leadership, that was getting written while I was doing some of these things. I also did like disaster recovery plans. So I was in a nuclear power plant. We had to do disaster recovery plans. I was with an energy company. We had to do that. So all of these things started to build that brand. But then you talk about building the brand. One of the things I've shared that story in the recent book called Bring Inner Greatness Out, about personal branding. What happened was I started sharing knowledge. So I believe that the essence of leadership is empowering others to do something with that knowledge. Knowledge in my head is completely useless. Its power is unleashed when I share it. So as I shared the knowledge and I was empowering people, I suddenly started to get known quite widely. And then in 2017, there was a People's Choice Award in the field of cybersecurity. That was the first time an award like this was being held. And it was going to be voted on globally. So I was competing against, I think, 17 or 19 companies. Many of them had big, big budgets and all that. And there were only 4 individuals in that contest. So 19 companies, 4 individuals. And all of a sudden, starting from the very first week, I ran away with the win, with the votes that I was getting. And I started realizing, how did that happen? And I realized what was different was that because I had helped so many people, I had created relationships with countless people all over the world that I didn't even know. So I was getting votes from people and their friends and their relatives and their children. And that's how I won. And once that happened, everything just started building upon each other. So that's kind of how it happened, a short story.
Well, I believe that leaders make other leaders, and it sounds like you've been doing that for quite some time. So good for you. It looks like your favorite quote was one of your own. You do not need to be perfect. You need to perfect your uniqueness. Tell me what makes you unique.
Well, we were already born unique, but as I said, the perfection of the uniqueness is that I embrace myself, right? So some people might think, hey, my name is funny. No problem. That's the beginning of my brand. That's the beginning of my uniqueness. Then accent. Everybody has an accent. So I embrace my accent. I'm not shy from it, but what I did was I perfected the accent in the way that it can be understood, because I believe everybody will have an accent, but the key is to be understood and clear. So I did that. And then I also expanded multiple parts of my brain by doing music, poetry, public speaking, debating, chess, table tennis, you name it. I tried everything that you could possibly do. And that created the brain complexity. And I think that actually has helped me understand and build relationships with lots and lots of people. And that's my uniqueness.
Well, thank you for sharing all that with us. And you did a wonderful job this evening. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Now, our 7th contestant was Ms. Terry Liebert. Terry, what club are you representing this evening?
Hi, I'm representing Tidewater Toastmasters based in Easton, Maryland.
Now, Terry, you said that photography was one of your hobbies. So what are the favorite subjects that you might have?
My favorite subjects is nature, animals, really anything beautiful. And I'm a new resident on the Eastern Shore. I spent most of my life in Central Maryland, and now I'm on the Eastern Shore, and every day is amazing. We go and watch the sunset every night, sunrise every morning. It's the most beautiful place, and I post them on Instagram and Facebook, and I just love it. And of course, then when all the deer are out or birds, I'm always taking a picture. Always.
Well, I just recently relocated to the Sussex County in Delaware, so I'm on the beach a lot too. So that's always an inspiration, right?
Yes.
Now you, like one of our other contestants, said that your children inspire you. So I'm going to give you that same opportunity to tell us about your little darlings and let us know how they inspire you.
Well, my little darlings are 18 and 24. But the way they inspire me is I really, as a parent, and I would never, have known this before, is that if I expect them to succeed and do great things, I need to do them myself. I need to be the to show them that, hey, I won't only expect them of them, I would expect it of myself as well. And it's really taken place when I turned 50. I turned 50 and I'm like, I need to achieve all these things. So I've done 5K races, 10K races, bodybuilding competitions, Toastmasters, and now a Toastmasters contest. And that's all in 5 years. I just want to be a good role model for my kids, and they inspire me to do that.
Well, you're making me feel like a slacker, but thanks for that.
I'm sorry.
Now, why did you decide to go into the humorous speech contest?
Oh my goodness, Mary. It was totally a spur of the moment. I've really never done a humorous speech, and I thought, you know what, this is going to challenge me. And I decided to put my name in the hat for my club and see it through. And here I am. So
Well, we are glad you are here with us. So thank you for your speech tonight and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Marianne.
Now, can I just ask that, are we ready to move on?
We are, thank you.
Okay. The interviews are complete, and I'd like to remind everyone that the results will not be given tonight. They will be given on Saturday at the district. And I believe Ben will give you a little more information about that. And I just encourage you to join us tomorrow for the International Speech Contest. And I will toss back to Mr. Benjamin Chris, today's contest chair and the program quality director for District 18. Ben?
All right, thank you, Mary Ann. I want to first thank each contestant for giving an outstanding speech this evening. Well done and good luck. Also, I am very happy to announce that there were no disqualifications for time. So well done, speakers. And like I said, good luck. As far as dignitary recognition, I do want to recognize some people. Not only were they role players, but they're also dignitaries from District 18. We have Stacy Ridgely, who is our district contest chair and Area 53 director. Well done, Stacy. Also, I want to recognize Diana Curtis, who is the district contest co-chair. So well done, Diana. I also want to recognize Marianne Grady, who was our contest master. Very nicely done, Marianne. Thank you. I also want to give a couple shout outs to Kathleen Davis, who is not only our Zoom master for this evening, but she is also our District 18 finance manager. Also, Greg Del Fassi, he is also our Zoom master for this evening, and he is also our District 18 webmaster. So he does all the behind the scenes stuff for the District 18 website. So thank you for your service. Also, I want to recognize Denise Anderson, who is not only our timer number 2, but she is also our Area 52 director. Again, I want to call out Mervyn Bierman, who's not only a past district governor, but he is also our current District 18 chief judge. And lastly, I want to acknowledge
Mr. PQD.
Yes, sir.
Point of order. I have never been the district governor. I was one of the first district directors.
So I digress. Past district director. Thank you, Mervyn, for correcting me.
Yes, I'm a stickler about those things.
That's quite all right. And lastly, I want to call out some role players that helped us this evening, and they come from all over the United States. We have people from California, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Delaware. I want to thank them for their service this evening. Also, I want to give a shout out to Nora Wade, who was timer number 1, as well as Nancy Waring, our ballot counter, Wendy Miner, also a ballot counter, and Marcy Rode, our sergeant at arms for this evening. I do have a couple announcements. that Saturday, May 1st, is our District 18 Virtual Spring Conference, and the registration window is still open if you have not yet registered, and can be found in multiple places on the District 18 website, the homepage, as well as the calendar. At our virtual conference, we have keynote Brian Olds, as well as guest speakers Stephen Shaner and Tim Gard. We have 2 educational sessions with Sharok Albana and Chandil Kumar. Plus, you'll hear a word from our international president-elect, Margaret Page. At the conference, you'll hear the results of the district speech contest. So that was last night table topics, tonight humorous, and tomorrow international. You'll hear that the results of the contest winners during the conference, along with raffles and door prizes. And you'll also witness a panel discussion with the 3 international director candidates from Region 7. So you don't want to miss it. If you have not registered, please do so as soon as possible. I now turn the virtual lectern back to our Sergeant at Arms, Marcy Rode, to please close us out. Marcy, the lectern is yours.
Thank you. I declare tonight's contest over.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good